Hi, welcome to Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News this week. We had the banquet this weekend. Let's thank our marketing partners, GAC, Great American Company, Papa John's, always providing us dinner on Tuesday nights, except when Fast Eddie's Barbecue comes to town.
Yeah.
I mean, I had dinner for like 3 days on Fast Eddie's Barbecue. Slinger Speed Company, I think Tim Brown, Bondurst Brothers Distillery. Maybe this year Jack will go get us. Maybe Jack will go get us some product this year, Adam. We can
do
some shots in here. Yeah.
Me up.
They have like a Fireball one.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
MPM Marketing is Tanya McAllister. Thank her. Langley Speedway, Chuck and Bill, Terry. Thank those guys for allowing us to do the show here. Really appreciate those guys for always letting us.
And put on a heck of a banquet the other night. That was a good banquet. So.
Yeah. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Mountain Jack's drink of choice. Mosquito Joe's outside is fun again. And get 50% off on your first month of service on this side of the water. So Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, you guys are out. We're out.
Who's the guy that runs the place?
Robert.
We seen him on Saturday.
Yeah. Mosquito Joe. Southampton Motor Speedway. Gator Graphics. Mean Dean Automotive. I'd like to see him like practicing the beer. How long this took him to get Moyoc down. with Greer and Associates, thank those guys for sticking with us for a while. Appreciate old Mean Dean and Greer. RDS Performance. RDS has got a new address, Jack.
Yeah, and got moved out of their shop that they were in and moved to a new one.
What happened?
I don't know.
They probably needed the bigger space.
He's been busy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you could do it in just a one bay or whatever he had there. I mean, he has been busy. Talk to we can get that. I'll finish my thing before I get rambling. Fast Eddie's Barbecue. I think go Fast Eddie for our barbecue the other week and dinner for 2 or 3 days. S&N Communications. Thank them for coming on board. Airlock and Factory Canopies. Factory Canopies provided some chairs that we'll get soon.
Yes, they're coming to you. Coming to you.
You already get an address and stuff?
They're supposed to have everything ready. I mean,
shipping.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to get it shipped out.
And Miles of Seamless Gutter, man, thank Miles for believing in us and putting up the money, and really appreciate those guys. Please go like and share their page. But seeing Riley Rando and RDS has set her car up, and she's been out here practicing and seems like doing really, really well. She said Aiden was mad because Aiden got in her car and ran faster in her car than he did in his car.
Oh no. So
he better watch out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Riley ain't scared of no boys.
I'm not getting into that conversation.
I'm looking forward for her. I mean, they're such a nice family and kid. And
shout out to Craig Eastep for help making that possible. It's Craig's car, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But this is it the car he had?
Yes.
Is it? Okay. For some reason I thought Craig was keeping it and they were still going to run some, and that was his old car or something of it.
I think that's been switched around.
I don't know how much he's running this year.
So, anyway. All right, let's look at some news real quick. We had some racing this past weekend.
We had some racing. We had a banquet.
Yeah, and we got one of the winners at the banquet. I mean, one of the champions. Got him here tonight, so that's pretty cool.
All kinds of hardware.
In the clash up at Bowman Gray, Chase Elliott got the win.
It wasn't close.
Well,
I mean, it was for
Man,
a few laps.
I thought Denny was going to be the guy there for before the halfway break. I thought Denny was the guy, especially on the long runs. He just seemed to be better. But I don't know what, and they must have made an adjustment in the halfway break, and Chase was. I don't think anybody had anything for him at the end there. Although he was projected to run pretty well,
but you know, when you have the track, when you're in front of the up front in that race like that, you're pretty much protected. I mean, he did have to run through some lap cars a couple times, but I mean, a couple of them just moved over and let it go. I mean, they knew what the deal was.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, he had it going on there for a little while, and congratulations to him. He got it done. The last chance qualifier lasted probably as long as the Daytona 500. But
it was getting kind of sketchy there at the end. But I'm surprised that the other race was as clean as it was. I expected it to be a little more. I thought we'd see more caution, especially there at the end.
And I enjoyed seeing the Dillon boys go at each other.
Yeah, just say they ain't
Yeah,
cut each other.
and we got
Ty's
crew chief coming on tonight. So I'm gonna.
What do you think Andrew's gonna say?
I don't. He's gonna be politically correct. I know how that works.
I don't know.
But
it's Childress.
But there was a lot of paybacks. You know.
Well, I mean, both of them were pretty fast. You know, I mean, the KAULIG car was pretty good.
Started up front.
Mm-hmm. And ran well there for the first 50, 60 laps or so. I mean, until it got kind of shuffled till his brother kind of roughed him up a little. And
well, like somebody said on the radio coming down here, it's nice to see them use them front bumpers for a little bit. That's really good to see them do it. And they sure didn't have no problem with that.
No, but I think it's still different than the old car. You know, I mean, you can see them hitting each other, and it really didn't upset the car in front. You know, so I don't know if that's just the design or what.
I don't know either. All right, in the modified race, the Bowman Gray Modifieds, the showstopper, Chris Fleming got the win. That was pretty.
Now you're talking about another character,
right? I'm gonna tell you that was not the guy I was expecting to win that race.
Not surprising though, right?
No, I mean, he's won a bunch of races there.
Correct, right.
But with the field they had there, I was thinking. And then he spun early in the race.
I didn't watch that race, but
he spun early in the race, and I wasn't even paying no attention to him. Next thing I know, he's running up front. I mean,
I really expected that Tim or Bert was going to be the guys who's going to be in the front of that field, being they were bringing it. They're going to put all their emphasis in this.
Bert didn't. He didn't have either day was not really good for him. So
no, but I wonder he kind of left it open handed that like there might be some other races in it.
And of course, Tim, he probably wasn't feeling good after you called him Bert last week.
We're not talking about that, Jack. But I did pick him I thought he would. I did think Tim was going to run a lot better than he did. I just figured some experience there was going to help. But then again, I mean, you can't beat guys that this is the series that they run in all the time. They know, well, they know it. And I don't know if I know they're Roush affiliated, but I don't know if they have Roush engines or not.
Who's that?
Where? I would assume so, but I don't know that.
I think they do have the Yates Roush engines.
Yeah, I just don't know that.
Whatever it is. All right, down at Cordell, Georgia, the UARA Super Late Models were racing down there this weekend. Bubba Pollard got the second win of the season already down there. Stephen Nasi finished second, and Jake Finch finished third. So that's
you're talking about three fast guys, right?
Usual suspects, right there.
Yeah, I would love to see those guys come to the Hampton.
Oh yeah,
I would love to see Bubba Pollard come to the Hampton.
Well, I don't think Bubba Pollard's going to come back here no time soon. Well, he's never been here, but I'm saying coming up here because he got roughed
by
up.
Martinsville.
Yeah. You know,
But he ran well.
oh, that's true too. Good. So anyway, all right, let's get our first contestant.
He's already won.
Done won everything, man. Done won everything. But anyway, well, let's get him over here. You get my seat. Since you're richer than me.
Put that on there, Chris.
Since you're richer than me.
As of this weekend.
Won a championship.
You guys know what race cars cost?
We take all you can give it, Greg.
Yeah. Our seasons weren't cheap.
No. So, man, you were up there. You run the Pro 6. You're running the truck race. Did you think you had a shot at our sponsorship deal?
I thought winning the championship helped, and coming at the banquet and socializing with everybody. But I mean, you never know.
Oh, you talking about the Christmas
Yeah,
party?
the Christmas party. Coming to the Christmas party and socializing with everybody.
It definitely.
Which I mean, that was
Look, I saw videos from people from Miles that
He put the effort in, didn't he?
yeah, the
People
people,
at the party. The Christmas parties are pretty fun.
yeah. The Christmas party was a great time. I mean, the people who work at Miles are great. My videos aren't that great. I'm not the best PR person.
but the people at Miles, Scott and I were talking one day. He sent me some videos of the people from Miles, and I don't know who they are. Don't ask me their names or nothing. But they were doing the voting for who was going to be thing, and it got kind of rough.
It did.
I mean,
I have fans.
you got big fans.
I'll just call him out, Rob. Rob blocked people from voting. He's like, we ain't not having a vote. I done say Chris is winning, and that's it.
Well, it's about the engagement too. When Miles
Sure.
came here on the rain day, I unloaded my trailer, brought the car back out, brought the car. I think it was the truck. Brought the truck back out of the trailer so the kids could sit in there. You know, they came all the way down here. So share their posts on Facebook. Come to the things that they want you to come to. That stuff's important if you want these people to help you.
Absolutely.
So you win the money, and
So what did you think? Were you?
I was pretty nervous because I was counting on that. We got a motor at the machine shop. We just ordered a bunch of parts for the truck. I just picked the car up from Richmond, which was not cheap. We made a bunch of changes on that. Got another engine to build for the car. I got to find another transmission. So I had parts to buy.
Yeah.
That $5 is gone.
Well, you said it in, but it's already spent.
Yeah, it's already spent.
That's a big relief, right? I mean, it's a huge help, right?
Yep. Covers the first race expense.
Yeah. I know when, like I said, me and Jack kind of stay out of that voting part of it. They're like, because everybody here is our friend, right? And we want to make it fair as possible. And when we were sort of hearing that, you made a good impression and everybody liked you, but I will say, Ron put a.
I saw that video and I got really nervous.
I mean, Ron put a hell of a job on that video.
Yeah,
I mean, that was way cool.
and he brown nose real good.
Yeah. Which is kind of a great, cool idea. And as we were hearing that, and I'm like, well, are we going to just sponsor somebody, or are we going to have a contest, right? Because we can't continue to pick the same person. But this is only the first time, so it's not like this is continuous.
And I can't win again, so
We can't win the grand prize. We don't know how many people we're going to have. We're going to have 1 or 5. I just wanted to think that there could be more than one person
spread around. I'm not going to not enter. It would be a fool to not.
Right.
To not enter. But it needs to be spread around. I absolutely agree.
As long as we don't let them people from Miles see it, you might other people might have a shot. It's crazy.
That's what I told him. I was like, okay, but if this happens, you can't win a grand prize next year. They're like, why not? Rob. Rob's a lot of fun. It's really cool.
But a team like yours, though, I mean, you got the truck and the Pro 6 and everything. And I'm not harping on how we got involved with this, but $5,000 can really help a team like yours.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
He was tickled over 15.
I was ready to wrap the whole car in miles. For $1,500.
I mean, that's huge for you.
Oh yeah.
And I ain't gonna say nothing, but winning the 1500 last year got you a championship. So
Yeah, it did. It did. I mean, the truck had no stickers on it last year, short of the mile sticker. That's the only sponsor that we had on the truck. Everything else were.
yeah, I noticed that. Don't worry about it.
We do have WG Speaks coming on board on the truck this year. It's an HVAC company out of Richmond.
And what do they do?
HVAC.
Okay.
And Sparky's gonna be spot for me, so that's kind of ironic. Because he owns an HVAC company. So Sparky, you need to come up with some money.
Well, Sparky's already looking for a tire guy. Apparently, Mason's not working on limited night because
I'm booked up this year. They were nice to me when they made the schedule. I don't have a lot of double duty races. I think I only have one where I run both the car and the truck on the same night.
okay. Well, that's good.
But the downside of that is I will be here every weekend.
Yeah, 2 in 1 night's not so bad when you start thinking about
Yeah,
that.
it's like, oh yeah, one weekend I went camping.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I don't know what else I would do if I didn't do this.
Well, then you're here on Sunday or Friday nights, right? Too.
Yep.
Are you still?
Race director for the Road Park Club. We're running majority of probably 80% would be on Friday night races. My dad always says I went backwards. I started on Saturday night and I moved over to Sunday.
Well, that's what everybody aims to get there on Sundays.
Yeah. Whereas you got like the Tristan McKees and the Connor Halls where they started on Sunday and now they're moving to the bigger leagues.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Donovan Brown? I never really even recognized him. He was so clean cut.
I mean,
I thought he was coming for a job interview. He looked so good.
yeah, I mean that was pretty wild. But I mean, you're just very deserving as a champion and as a winner of the 5,000. I mean, it's good to see somebody like you win that and be a part of it.
Winning the championship feels good because we did it as friends and family. Like, I didn't hire a crew to come work for me. It's my brother and sister-in-law, and Ed's pretty much family now at this point. Him and Jerry have been friends for a very, very long time. So we're having fun doing it. We're not arguing. If we're not having fun, we're not going to do it.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
So we should have went to the last race with the attitude of, oh well, it kind of is what it is. It's just what's going to happen is going to happen.
Well, you were sort of on house money, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, you're kind of. You weren't expected to compete for the championship.
We
right?
were 25 points out with 4 races to go.
So I mean, like you had something to lose, but you didn't have something to lose, right? You exceeded your expectations.
I was going to finish second, which would have been fantastic.
Right. And it just worked out.
Yeah. From a season before with 7 DNFs and 6 blown up engines and 7 broken transmissions, and I probably got pushed by the push truck more than any car here.
Who's going to be your competition this year?
In the trucks?
Well, trucks are the
man. So the greatest thing about the truck class is it's the most competitive class here. There's at least 6 or 7 trucks to roll at that hole in the wall that can win. From Donald Brown to Bill Wallace to Chris McAvoy, Chase, myself, throw Paige up in the mix.
Paige is going to have a fast truck this year.
Yeah, because there's some shuffling going around. I don't necessarily know what's going to happen there, but that's going to be interesting. Because her truck's up for sale. 38 trucks up for sale. Don't know what she's going to be driving. I have my guesses, but I'm just going to keep that to myself.
No, I don't know. It's a secret.
Yeah, you get ready to let today.
Well, I don't know if it's a secret. I just don't know.
Oh, I don't even know who told me, but my understanding is, she's gonna be driving her cousin's truck.
I figured. That was my guess.
But good. It'll be a fast truck.
She's good. She deserves it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
She deserves
it. She's put her time in, right?
Absolutely.
So it'll be good.
Bill Wallace is going to be one to watch.
Oh,
and
for sure.
To be honest, if Donald Brown didn't hit the wall on the front stretch, he probably would have gotten it.
Oh, yeah.
In points. Because he's probably the most he might not win every single race, but he's the most consistent driver. If you look at the stats, he's the most consistent driver in the field.
Yeah. I guess Pellick won't be back this year to run this year. Unless after he gets back off his deployment. I'm not sure. Rick Powell.
He said he's not running this year. If he does,
I think he's got 1 or 2 races. I think
if he does, he'll probably come play just like he did.
Yeah.
And with that big motor he's got in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna make it through Texas.
Yeah. Since he's not going to be here every week, he ain't worried about what's next.
Well, then I mean, the Pro 6 too. You got Travis is gone.
Travis is gone. You got Matt and Trey.
They're going to be fast.
We've got something up my sleeve. I think.
You getting the same motor Rick House got his motor from?
Yeah.
Same engine got. But I mean, that's going to be.
But we're going to come out here and test, but we made some changes that should be in the positive. Took it to a race car shop and spent a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that, and I'm not taking anything from Travis. If any time that I'd want to win a race or be competitive, I would want to be it with Travis, right? Because he's the guy, right?
Absolutely.
Same
Same reason I said I moved on from Wing Champs because Aaron wasn't there anymore. So if I win or I go out and win the
Right, you ain't
championship,
yet beat anybody, right?
It's
Well,
like,
I'd
oh,
say
well,
not beat anybody, but
right, Aaron left now, so you can go ahead and win a championship with it. I don't want it like that.
right. And of course, I meant to say, and when we were doing the little sponsorship thing, like Travis couldn't have quit a couple years prior before I quit. But there's nobody better that's well deserving. I mean, he's a great guy. He's a great competitor, and he's a clean driver. You could not say anything bad about Travis.
Travis is nice. I've known them forever, back in the arena racing days.
Right.
Him and his dad out here racing on Sunday and racing go-karts.
Yeah.
They didn't always have the best equipment, but they were going to be in the top three.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be good for the series, right? And I have somebody that's dominant like he has been. So I think it's going to be, hopefully that series, I mean, we have some cars there, so hopefully it gets healthier and the show looks better.
We finished the season with 11 on the last race. We had 10 or 11 cars.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think we started with 12 or 13 or so, I think.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 of them couldn't drive and they jumped them in turn 3 or turn 2, but that's neither here nor there.
No.
The series has gotten better since Scott left. I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean, let's just be honest about it. And
Well, I mean, there was no show anymore, Jack.
oh, you were a show, all right. You were a show. Ain't no doubt about that.
It is a good series. I mean, the cost is, for a real race car, the cost is low.
Yes.
The cost is low.
The weekly cost, as long as they're not wrecking it,
Yeah.
is fairly inexpensive opposed to a lot of the other classes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to be in a real race car, obviously, you know, if I smack the wall in the truck, it might be a little bit cheaper to fix than the car. But when we get into, like, because that's a Mazda versus Pinto spindles and front clip and all that stuff. But as far as getting into a real race car, the Pro 6 is where it's at.
Yeah.
Well, just be grateful you don't have Scott out there and have to deal with that.
I was going to let him proxy for me for a race or two.
Well, there goes your shit. Might as well just tell it like it is. You think the 5,000?
I'll get my suit and they won't even know who's in it.
You think you spent $5,000 on what beat you him in the car? So you got to go in and label all the pedals and everything, so you'll know what to hit.
But the Pro 6 car is really fun to drive. Everybody always asks me which is more fun. The truck is more fun to race with the side by side and closeness and the competition level where everything's so tight. I mean, you figure the last race we were half a tenth from first to fourth qualifying. Versus the Pro 6 is more fun to drive.
Yeah, but I completely agree on the racing side of it. Like my first year or two when we had more cars and I'm not taking anything of just the new guys that have come into the Pro 6 class. There was more competition.
Yep.
You know, you had Dash and Bobby Hall and you know, you're racing door to door with somebody.
You're racing.
Correct. That's fun. Even if it's for fifth, third, or what have you. Qualifying second or third and spreading out and just logging laps and finishing second is not fun.
No,
I mean, it's just not.
So you actually raced
once or twice. Look, I've been a fan of Scott's for a long time.
Well,
since I was like 14.
Shake your hand. It's your last trip by show, and I'll be damned if you're going to win it. That ain't happening.
It is funny though to think about all the guys that we sort of. When I've been involved in racing and I worked on late models years ago and I left and I came back and doing the arena racing with Eric and all you guys that were sort of kids then or racing now. I mean, there's Matt. That's got that's running our car. I'm just trying to think of all the kids that's come along to the racing here. Jordan, and then
Jordan was 5.
George was my teammate in the arena racing.
Yeah.
And then also, who else was there? Jody's daughter. She ran our other car one
I
time.
remember Brendan Queen drove in the youth series in Richmond.
I was gonna say I don't remember that. So I do remember. I'll tell you one funny story. Cody couldn't run or something or another, and Brendan he got suspended for something. So Brendan run his car, or no, it was Jackson's car. I can't remember. It might have been Jackson's car. I can't remember. And Queen ran it, and he's running the B main with me. He's like, "I'm gonna be real easy. I'm not gonna run this." I think it was like lap 3. He's got me like upside down. Like I thought we were just gonna race it out here and have fun. And he's like, "Man, I don't know what happened to me. I got in the car and it all went."
At least he's honest.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Shout out to your sponsors and everything, and what all you got going on for this year. And
We're still working on sponsorship. I'm still talking to a couple people confirming things. But as of now, I've got Coastal Flooring coming back. Obviously, Miles' Single Scutter coming back for another year. And then WG Speed coming back on the truck. That's what I have confirmed for right now, but we're still working on it, as well as the Scott Allen.
No. Get that right, Rick. You done screwed this whole show up. No, you just screwed the whole show up.
He couldn't have a straight face.
Yeah, I knew what he was doing.
I practiced that. As well as the Jack Dawson show with Scott Allen. Time's a charm. If it didn't bug you so much, I wouldn't do it.
No,
Well, I know next time
It'd
you
be boring if we didn't.
next time when you win another one of these sponsorship things,
Because it's a vote.
well, you're out this year, but you can come back. You know, somewhere down the road, you might come back. You ain't gonna get it. It ain't gonna happen.
Well, that Jack's not allowed to vote.
Yeah. He doesn't have any influence over it. Although I didn't exercise any, but I don't either. Not so much that.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. We're gonna get these other guys on here, and thank you so much for being over here.
Thanks, Chris.
And
Good luck. Congratulations, man. How many people congratulated you for
A lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not the most social person, so.
All right. Let me get back in my other chair over here.
Thanks, Chris. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to. You want to do your thing first?
Oh yeah. Let's do our newest.
Let me know when I'm hot.
You're hot.
Robert Rummels with Mosquito Joe. Thank you for tuning in to the Jack Dodson Racing Insider News with Scott Allen. See you next week.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What's happening?
Hey, fellas.
How you doing there, Spanky?
I'm tired today, but I'm all right.
Okay, well, good. Scott, we had Spanky on a couple weeks ago, and we talked to him, and he was telling us about racing with ALS that you're involved with. Give us a little what all you're doing with this racing for ALS.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, we started this back when my brother got diagnosed in 2017. And we had always said someday we'd go get race cars and have fun. And well, they said he had 2 years to live. So we figured that was better time than any or as good a time as any. So we went and did what any sane, rational people would do. We bought 700 horsepower Camaros and went to the track with no experience and no idea what we were doing. So that's pretty much how it started. Luckily, we survived that and kind of grew and learned. And as we were going to the track, we had some ALS decals on the car. And folks kept saying, racing community is so amazing. They kept saying, how can we help? And so, from 2008 until now, we've raised almost $2 million. We're at $1.9 million that we've raised. And that has been donated 100% to ALS TDI for research, Duke University for research, Ohio State, Marshall, a couple other places. But we also do grants. We've given out over $300,000 worth of grants directly to ALS patients. And we have 3 vans that we loan to families to drive and use for free while they're battling ALS. And so it's something where we're just trying to help people the best we can.
how did you get started with it? I mean, I know you said you had somebody in the family that had it, but I mean, where did you get the idea to do this?
Well, like I said, when we got our cars, I had a car that was faster than my brother's, and he didn't like that, as you might imagine. And so we had sent his car out to a shop in Texas to get some motor work done. And we flew out and we were going to drive the car back kind of cannonball run style. And at the time I said, we should do some Facebook Live messages and we should post some stuff. And he's like, nobody's going to pay any attention to that. And on the way back, we did it and we raised $750. And that was kind of where the light bulb started going off. And then we also went to the Victory Junction lapping event at VIR, where they do a great event there, and it benefits Victory Junction Camp for the Petty family. And we were just watching what they were doing and said, hey man, this could be something for ALS. And so the next year we actually put on our first high performance driving event, or HPDE, at VIR. And as they say, the rest is history. It's been an amazing group of people that have been working really hard.
Well, how many families have you touched, and how long have you been doing this?
I said the charity we started in 2018. We officially became a charity in 2020. And I mean, I could pull up our stats. I know, actually, I should pull up. So I apologize. I pull up a bunch of other things. But we've given out grants. I think it's 32 different states that we've given out, 167 unique grants to different families. Over 300,000 given out, plus the van program. So it's been a godsend. I mean, to be honest, if this was all on me, we'd have made like $10. I mean, the Lord has just put the right people in the way, and it's a team. It's a group of people that just go out and have huge hearts and want to help. And I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
I love the van idea. I don't know that I've heard anybody doing that before. So I love that idea. And I just think it's a great idea, right? How many people help you with this?
Well, again, we've had a lot of folks that have donated. It may be, especially for what you all do on this show, it may be fun for you to know. I don't know if you all ever knew Jungle. He was a hauler for a lot of different NASCAR teams, Denver Mattress for years. He was actually Terry Labonte's first hauler back in '84 in his championship season. And then he was a hauler at Hendrick. And so we have a Hendrick stock car. And that's where Racing for ALS really kind of started getting traction, was when we had that car and they called us up and said, hey, we've got one of our haulers who has ALS. And it was Jungle. His name is Jim Gilbert, and everybody called him Jungle Jim.
Yep, I remember that name now.
Yes, sir. And so he was the one, his wife, I was talking to his wife, and she was telling me, Emma, I've got to take 2 days off of work, and it costs, hundreds of dollars a day to rent them, and you got to rent them months in advance. And we're like, man, this is silly. We got to do something. So we went out and went to our folks and raised the money and bought the first van for Jungle. And so all of our vans are called the Jungle Jim Cruisers. That's actually what we call them. And so, we've got 3 of them out there, and it's been really cool. Hoping to buy a 4th one soon.
Now, Spanky, tell us what all that you have benefited from getting with Scott.
Scott's been a blessing. I mean, I'm lucky to be one of the van recipients. To my wife can took my little fat butt to the doctors and all that, and for that wheelchair, it's 475 pounds, and you're not going to stick it on the back of a pickup truck and ride the Duke. But just Scott's reached out, with that, and I was lucky to get one of their grants, and that helped with medicine and everything, and just every little thing that I've called, Scott's been there. If anything was wrong with the van, if my brother couldn't take care of it, he's a certified mechanic and everything, then I'd call Scott and say, hey, we got a bigger issue, and Scott wouldn't hesitate. He'd jump right on it. And he told me if my wife couldn't take it to where it needed to be done, he had some folks in Charlotte that would come pick it up and take it and do what needed to be done. And I mean, just, when you guys told me, Scott was going to be on, and then it was a shock to me. Y'all called back out and asked me to be back on. And I ain't going to lie, it brought tears to my eyes, because you don't know how much Scott and Racing for ALS family, they're in my heart. I'm indebted to them people, because what do you do? A lot of people don't know a lot about ALS. They don't know what it is. And, you know, it's a disease that every day you don't know what tomorrow holds. And, you know, and I've been fortunate, you know, mine's not as progressive as some of them, but it is progressing. In the last 6 months, it's progressed pretty good. I mean, I hate to say that, but I have to laugh about it. I have to keep a good spirits about it. You know, now you know, as I was telling you on the phone the other day, I'm losing my arms, you know, my right arm, it's got to where I can hardly pick it up. And between both my right and my left arm, they hurt so bad, you know, you just, what do you do? And my doctor, you know, he told me, he's Jason, he said, I've warned you, I've told you what to expect and everything. And, you know, and I didn't mention Jungle's name the other week in respect for Jungle. I didn't know. And everything. Jungle, me and him drove together at Red Bull and everything, and Jungle was a character. And ALS took Jungle in 16 months, but he fought. He put in a good fight with it and everything, but you know, the good Lord told him it was time to come home, and you know, he's not suffering and stuff. That's the main thing. But like I say, going back to Scott, that whole organization, you know, I'm on top of it in any way, shape, form I can promote it and everything I do. You know, even if it's $200 or $300, you know, for my birthday wish on Facebook every year. I think I may have raised 500 this year. I think something like that, but it all goes to Scott and him because, like he said, 100% of this goes to, you know, Duke ALS Clinic and then research. And that's where all my doctors are at the Duke ALS Clinic. And yeah, you know, that trip up there, I go every 2 months now. And I don't know, they said, Jason, we may step it up to every month, but right now we're going to leave it at every 2 months and stuff. But, you know, like I told my doctor 2 weeks ago, you know, about my arms, he made me reach out and call Duke and let them know. And so they're going to schedule me another, I believe it's called EMG test, where they it's sort of like shocking your nerves to test to see how your nerves are. And hey, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. You know, if they've got something for ALS, a drug, which I was on an experimental drug, and yeah, it didn't do nothing for me and stuff because my ALS is rare. The way the doctors talk, you got a 1%. The way I understand that it's in your lungs, and mine is in the lungs, and Jungle's was in the lungs, and his was rapid. I don't know why mine's not. The doctors have even told me we don't know why it's not rapid, but normally in your lungs it's rapid. But she told me, she said, you know, it's a good thing, it's a bad thing that it's not rapid because, you know, your lungs are not getting worse, you know, faster. She said, but it's hurting other parts of your body.
Yeah.
And stuff, you know, you take the good, you take it with the bad, but you know, I mean, I could sit here and talk all night long about it. I mean, I'm a very supportive of Scott. Scott was an angel, him and his brother David and everything, you know, for them to come into my life. And I believe Jungle or his wife connected me with Scott. And that's how I got hooked up with Scott, you know, and everything. Cause I was actually out of work August of 2018 when my symptoms started and everything. And I think Jungle, he worked up, he was a little more stubborn. He worked up a year or two before he passed and everything. And but we all knew, you know, Jungle he was dragging his feet across the garage. Even when I was in it in 2018 still, you know, we would know Jungle would drag that right foot. Well, you know, and I've got the same symptoms if I can walk, my feet drag. They put braces on my legs to try to hold my feet up. I'd pick my foot up and my foot would just dangle. It would drag. And that's one reason I've had to get the wheelchair and everything, because I'm a fall hazard, and then my legs, they're not like they used to be no more. You know, I'm not a spring chicken.
Well, Scott, tell us a little bit about you got these fundraising things that you do is at the racetracks or whatever. Tell us a little bit about what all goes on.
Well, for us, I mean, we're doing high performance driving events, to where we go out and, it's groups of folks that are separated out based upon their skill level. And so, basically it's kind of like any other high performance driving event to where, you would come out and you'd pay a fee, to be able to drive a track. But the way we do it is we set it up for fundraising. So, if you can come out and Dave's race, it's $779. My brother picked that number. Don't ask me why. Nobody knows why he had this thing for funny numbers, but it's $779 to drive for the weekend. But you open up a fundraising site, and if you raise $779, you drive for free. And honestly, most of our people, because they're really wanting to see this disease end, they raise a whole lot more, than what their fee is. I mean, last year and the year before, we raised $250,000 at the last 2 days races each. That's $500,000, just those two events alone. And so it just it's a really good, fun environment. Everybody's out there to have a good time. I mean, there's families out there. We're doing a barbecue. We have speakers come in. It's this year we did a car show, up at VIR. So it's just been a really a fun thing, and we get to bring a lot of patients out there. Like this year, I'll send you a video. It brings tears to my eyes every time I look at it. There was a young lady. She's 23 years old. That's battling ALS, and she wanted to ride in a race car. So we flew her out, and we put her in a Corvette and took her out for a couple laps, and just to see her reaction getting out of that car, I mean, I can't begin to tell you. It's amazing. So we love getting to interact with our folks and help them out any way we can. Now, I do have to say this real quick though. Spanky keeps saying Scott. This is a team, man. I'm just lucky enough to be a part of it. We have an amazing group of people. So I got to make sure that's clear. It's a team.
And how gratifying is this? How gratifying is this, Scott? I mean, it's got to be so gratifying to be involved and do.
Well, it is, and I feel like the Lord calls on us to help people, and that's what we're trying to do. But I can also tell you, from what Spanky was just saying, when my brother was diagnosed, they said we know as much about ALS today as we knew about cancer 100 years ago. And there was one medication for ALS. And over my brother's 5-year fight, they came out with 3 more medications. And they identified 43 new gene variants they didn't know anything about. So they're making progress. I mean, in an odd circumstance, my neighbor and one of my good friends was diagnosed the same week as my brother, which is exceedingly rare. But he was on a experimental drug through Biogen. He's still walking, driving, talking, 7 years later. So it's just, that's what's so weird about this disease is, like I said, Jungle got it and he was gone in a year, and other people will get it and they'll fight it for 5. It's just, you just don't know what to expect. And I think that's probably one of the hardest parts of the disease. It was for my brother, was not knowing what was coming.
Yeah. A family friend, and I mean, I think it was about 18 months or so he lasted. It's a tough disease. And like I said, you don't know enough about it. And, why is it so rapid with one and then, not so with the other one? And, like I said, it's just so new. People don't know enough about it yet. But it's definitely a very, very tough disease.
It is.
Now, do you have these fundraisers booked up? I mean, have you got them set ahead of time or whatever?
We do.
So we can kind of talk about it and see where they are or whatever.
We do. And our biggest one is Dave's Race. It'll be Dave's Race 7. That's in September. It's that weekend of September 27th at VIR. I'm going, we're doing one at Road Atlanta, actually next weekend. I'm going out to California after that. So, we run Charlotte. We do that with Jay Zilla. They do an event where we go out under the lights. But our biggest of the year is definitely Dave's Race. So if y'all like to come out, we'll get you some cars, man. Come on out and run with us. It'll be fun.
Well, I want to come and be a part of it because Spanky's been a good friend to us, and we want to support him and support what all you got going on because you've done such great things for Spanky. We would like to be a part of it somehow or other and help you out some, make announcements and whatever we can and support you in that way. So I'm going to check. Is it on the website where you have these things?
Yeah. How can people donate?
Yes, sir. It's racingforals.com. There's a donation button there. There's an events button to where you can see the events that are coming up. And as we said, we have been very blessed that we had an individual to begin with, and now we've got, some companies that have donated money to cover, expenses for like the t-shirts and, that kind of stuff. I don't take a salary, it's for us, it's all volunteer stuff, but that's why, 100% of what you donate goes, to the cause. And similar to the Jimmy V, Foundation, we've been very, very grateful for that because, it really allows people that, they know that everything they're donating is going where it's supposed to go.
That's way cool. So yeah, if I'm gonna get on there and check some stuff out, and you got anything you want to put out about it, let me know, and we'll put it out here and help you with it. Maybe when you come to VIR, Scott and I may be able to and Adam may be able to make an appearance up there and come up and see you. I think it would be great to be a part of that, and
It'd be way neat.
yeah,
Way cool.
Well, we would sure appreciate it. And again, Spanky's an amazing guy, and he has been such a fighter and been such an advocate. And so, anything we can do to help people like Spanky, because sadly there's about 30,000 people in the U.S. right now fighting ALS, and we want to do everything we can. So we certainly appreciate it.
now, Spanky's a tough guy.
He's
one of our people, so he's tough. We know we're gonna be right there helping him.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
All right, fellas. Well, we appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for being with us. Scott, let me know anything you need to do. Let me know. I'll help you out. And Spanky, all you gotta do is call, buddy. We'll help you out any way we can.
Jack, Scott, Adam, y'all appreciate it. And Scott, I appreciate you coming on and talking and explaining what you're about with Racing for ALS. Like I say, it's deep to my heart for what the whole organization does. And I want to personally thank you for what you do, and the whole team, not just you, the whole team.
Thank you, brother.
All right, Spanky. We'll talk to you again real soon. Scott, thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it. And maybe we can get you back on. We'll talk some more about some of your events coming up and try to get some people out to help you with that.
We'd love to. Just let us know.
All right,
Thanks,
man.
guys.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
I mean, that's way cool what he's doing.
Those numbers are huge, man. The
Yeah.
numbers that he was throwing out, my goodness.
I mean, for a couple, events a year, that's pretty good in California and VIR and Road America and Charlotte. I mean, and
Those are pretty
still,
big venues.
yeah.
But
It's for a good cause. And
Yeah, it's for the greater good, as you would say. And Well-
Andrew's probably ate over it.
yeah, he probably has. All right, let's get Andrew.
What's up, Andrew? How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, guys? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Andrew. Mr. Crew Chief. I'm sorry,
I know,
Mr. Crew
right?
Chief.
He's upping his game up.
Hey, how was your first race as a crew? Well, it's not your first race as a crew chief because you've done it before. But how was your first race this time?
I'd say Bowman Gray was hectic, to say the least. It kept definitely unique and kind of a bit of a whirlwind. Practice started and everything just kept rolling so quick, and then all of a sudden you're in the heat race, and then it's bang, get ready for the next day. And we started pretty well, and then kind of lost our way with some of our changes, but we're able to kind of regroup going into the heat race, and then thought we had a plan to stay in front on the heat race and the last chance race, and the plan we had didn't really come to fruition, and all of a sudden we had a wrecked race car, and we were just kind of trying to do what we could do there. But it was a good event, a little bit of a cluster, but it was fun. I think the fans enjoyed it, and that's the main thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it was a wild race. I'm telling you, that was unbelievable to see all that going on. And it's got to be the one of the hardest places to run a cup car. And I mean, you don't have any notes for anything that you would do there. So you're really doing it from the seat of your pants. Really, just figure out what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, we felt like we probably lent a little bit too much on our Coliseum stuff from the past, and the Coliseum, honestly, now looking back, is a little bit different shaped corner. It's kind of a more of a point and shoot corner where whereas the Coliseum seems to have larger corners, and you kind of need to roll a little bit better and still be able to put the drive down. So I don't know. I feel like the philosophy we took in there wasn't quite exactly right. But you definitely can learn from that. And it's also difficult when you go into a track for the first time that there's no scan for the simulator. It's all a lot of CAD guessing, and then from that point of view. So I think we unloaded okay. We probably didn't have quite the right package to kind of get to where we need to get to have good speed all weekend. But again, getting taken out there early in the race, not exactly sure of what we could have had anyway. I thought we could have been able to at least compete to try and make the main race.
So, look, I mean, how much do you lean on, like, your other crew chief buddy over there, Trent Owens and Chris Weiss, and then those guys? How much did you lean on them for all this? I mean, you know, they got some experience with it, but
yeah. His experiences in different things that I do. So I think we kind of complement each other well. We both have a very similar philosophy on how we want these cars to go. And he draws on my experience through my engineering background. I draw on his experiences in real world racing, like, because he's old, so he's been doing it for a lot longer than me. He'd hate me if he heard me say that, but I definitely draw on his experience, because like where he's really strong is not definitely where I'm necessarily my strong points. That real world of what do we do in this situation. So even through the last 6 races of last year when we were working together, like he really helped me a bunch, and will continue to do so. And I try to help him from different perspectives that I can bring on the simulator side of it and the more engineering side of it. And hopefully together we can kind of build a team, because the goal is to take race cars that are identical to the racetracks every week and kind of get there and go from there. And I feel like I have never seen that before in a race team before. So it's a different philosophy in the way that these guys go about their work, but I actually really do like it.
so with your past experience at RCR, I mean, I know you had contact with Ty, but how was your communication with Ty over the weekend? I mean, y'all two are new together in this type of situation. So how was that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking over the off season. We've had lunch a couple of times, and like you said, I've known Ty for a long time. But at Phoenix last year, he kind of approached me and really expressed his enthusiasm and wanting me to come do this with him. And I finished the year out at Phoenix and went back to Australia and just kind of gathered my thoughts for a couple of weeks. And you know, listening to him, as motivated as he is to kind of make this opportunity work, it just seemed like the right fit for me. And the guys at KAULIG are awesome. Like I said, it runs like a smaller team, which I've always liked, as you know, Jack, having worked with Phoenix Racing and the smaller teams in the past. That suits my style. But then it also has access to the resources of the RCR with the alignments and whatnot. So you still have access to their information and their tools. And that if we execute things correctly and focus on the areas that we think are important, there's no reason that these cars can't run up front. And I think we proved it a couple of times there towards the end of last year. And I just think it's exciting times. It's something to build. It's a program that is headed in the right direction, I feel like. So that was kind of what attracted me to it.
But it's got to feel good when a driver comes to you and is like, I want you to be my crew chief. That's got to be pretty gratifying too.
Yeah, because honestly, 3 weeks before, when I was Watkins Glen was the first race I did, and to be honest with you, having never really done it before, I wasn't even sure I could do it. Right? You never know until you do it. And what I thought that weekend with AJ went really well, and we didn't get the result we wanted. Had a parts failure and fell out of the race, but I enjoyed how I kind of felt like I was able to control the situations. And then we rolled into Talladega and the Roval and Homestead and did a few more. And the more I did it, the more I felt like at least I proved to myself that I could kind of do it. So, and honestly, what surprised me the most doing those races is how many people are listening on the radio and the scanner across the world. Like I have random people saying, I can't believe you said that to him at this time. And when he said that was awesome, I'm like, who listens to this shit? I was incredibly surprised that people actually listen. But in those moments, it's got to come natural. If you're thinking too much about what you're going to say, you're probably not right for that situation. So I just kind of took each situation as it came and kind of, and then, you know, try and control the emotion as best you can. But you got to keep your driver pumped up. And I think honestly, I think Ty was one of those people that listened to some of those races and maybe liked what he heard or didn't hear. And I don't know, he really made a big push to kind of want me to do this. And like I said, I had enough pleasant experiences with the guys at KAULIG, and I felt confident in myself and my ability to do it by that time. So it just seemed like a natural fit. Like the outside world, I feel like doesn't really see us as being able to do anything, but I like the challenge of the underdog. Like all we can do is prove the world wrong, and that's exciting challenge to me. And I feel like we have the stuff to do it.
Do you think the new car kind of lends its hand to an engineering guy like you, opposed to the old school guy?
Yes, I do. I think this car is different in the way it makes speed. It's attention to detail. It's a whole bunch of little things that need to get added up. Whereas the old car, if Joe Gibbs or Hendrick had just a better fundamentally designed chassis, it didn't matter what you did on your chassis that wasn't, you know, you were just going to be off, and you were never going to, the haves and the have-nots, that gap was really large. Now, you know, the box is a lot smaller, and if you can exploit different areas of the box a little bit better than the other guys, I'm telling you, a moment can change a career. Like, it doesn't take much right now. Whether it's a little bit of luck on strategy, you're obviously bringing a fast race car is the first step, but you need a little bit of luck. But if you execute correctly, like, you never know. All of a sudden, you go from being not on anyone's radar, bang, you can win a big race, and all of a sudden, you're center stage. So like I said, one moment can change a career, and that's what we're planning on trying to do.
And did you say you guys bring the cars to the racetrack all, like when you guys go to Daytona, is all the cars set up exactly the same, or do you guys?
Yeah, the 10 and the 16 will be the same. Like, it's unique in the fact that at KAULIG, like, each team has a car chief, right? Like, but the two car chiefs for KAULIG will set up both cars, so they both set them up as well as they can be set up. Whereas in other teams, you'd have, say, at RCA, you'd have the 3 and the 8. The 3 guys set up the 3 car, and the 8 guys set up the 8 car, and you know, it's a competition to see who can do whatever. Here, it's different. You have the same guys setting up both cars, and you have your 2 best guys setting up the cars, and they both want the best. It's just a different dynamic. It's just a different. It's more of a. I've never seen 2 teams work as well together in an environment that I have at this place, which is kind of refreshing, honestly.
I mean, it's kind of a great place to go to. I mean, you got Chris Rice.
That's what I was going to say. And you got Chris in charge, right? That's kind of scary in some ways, because Chris is such a character, right? You think he's in charge?
Such a character. The good thing, I think he knows his limit on the Cup cars, because I think he looks at them and thinks, I really know what the fuck I'm looking at. Whereas on an Xfinity car, he thinks he knows what he's looking at. So he really gets into those guys and gives them a whole bunch of knowledge that I'm sure they don't always appreciate. Where the Cup car, he's just like, yeah, I'm going to stay away from that. You guys just handle it. So, yeah, I think from that point of view, Chris has been great to us. Like, he hasn't really gotten in the way at all. I think having the right personalities, like myself and Trent, really have similar personalities and a philosophy, and we both want to do this the same way. Like, if I had come in wanting to do what I want to do and wasn't listening to what other people, that would make this system not work quite as well. But with us wanting to kind of build cars similar and learn from each other at the racetrack, you know, we go to Coda in a couple of weeks. Like, there's no point in me taking a car that's much different to what AJ Allmendinger is going to go there with, because you know he's going to be running up front, and Ty might not be running quite that well. So it's going to be up for us to learn from what he's doing, whether that's driver technique or whatever. I don't need to go there with a completely different setup, thinking that I'm smarter than those guys, and then, well, now we go there and we potentially struggle. Is it the car setup? Is it the tires? Is the driver? Like, it's just more questions than answers. So with the few races we did towards the end of the last year, it seemed to work that if we would stay on the same page closely, at least to start with, we would have better results working together like that.
Well, that makes sense too. And it ain't like the old car where you might come in Sunday morning and say, look, I want to put these springs and stuff in there. The new car, you're not really doing a lot of that, right? Compared to the old school.
There's a lot smaller adjustments you can do. And we would definitely talk, like, Daniel Hemrick last year would want different things than say AJ would, and myself and Trent would talk. And yeah, by the time the race started, we might be slightly different or wedge heights, whatever it is. And that's fine because all drivers are different. But the philosophy of going there the same, I think it is a strong one. Is a strong one just to try and build your program up. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here, week to week. And not just be so scattered, just not just taking a random setup this week and a random setup that week. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, and you don't know why they work and why they don't work. And this, we're trying to establish like a program here, and that's what we feel like is a step to doing that.
Do y'all use the I don't even know what it's called, where you can see where the driver's letting off and where they're driving in? Do y'all use that information? Because you guys can see everybody.
SMT stuff?
Yeah.
The SMT stuff, yes, that's a really good tool for and that's another big transition stage right now. Like it was SMT where they had GPS in each cars, and now NASCAR wanted to basically take control of it. So now apparently NASCAR have all these cameras around the track. So I think that's going to be a little bit worse before it gets better in terms of the quality of data that we're getting out of it. But yes, that data is incredibly helpful during a race, in the after practice. If you've got a driver that wants to learn, it's incredibly helpful.
Because you can see everybody's information, right? Not just your team.
Yep, brake, steering, throttle. Yes, you can see it. Speed trace. You can see all that stuff. Yes, all the stuff you need for driver education. And a place like a road course and a place like these technical tracks we go to, it's incredibly useful. I think there's going to be a little bit of growing pains with this new way that they're trying to do it this year. Like we saw that in Bowman Gray, it didn't really work that well, but hopefully NASCAR will figure it out at some point. And but it's definitely a very useful tool.
Yeah.
Andrew, a few years ago when I was hanging around the Phoenix Racing's shop some, and I remember when y'all go to the races, did you ever figure you would be in this position? Or is this something you really were working towards the whole time?
Honestly, Jack, it wasn't something 6 months ago. I wasn't even working towards this. Like I got taken 18 after Indianapolis last year. So I guess they felt like they needed to make a change, and that was a little bit of a wake up call, I guess. And then I kind of had to think about a couple. Basically, guys at RCR, Jesse Love, Austin Hill, and help those young engineers develop and help them with their drive and their sims and all like that, and work as I could to try and aspirations at all to do this. And then Chris Rice came to me before Watkins Glen and asked if I'd crew chief a third cup car for AJ. And I had to think about it. I went about it. He was my boss at the time, and I said, "Yeah, you should do all that till the end of the year." And that's when I had a chance to think about, is this really what I want to do? So no, I was never working to be a crew chief. Like that was never a goal of mine. Like I was just as satisfied working with Jesse Love and watching his career progress and helping him with his driver stuff, just like I kind of felt like we did with Tyler Reddick when he drove for the 8 team. Like that, for me, I just wanted to be a part of something and building something and making something better. And probably the most satisfying part of my career to date was seeing where Tyler came to RCR on the Cup side and where he left, and just how much more of a polished, accomplished driver he was. And seeing him grow now is still incredibly rewarding for me. And so that's where I get my satisfaction from, whether it was being race engineer or crew chief, it doesn't matter. So no, I don't think being a crew chief was ever a goal that I woke up in the morning and said, that's what I want to be. This is just the opportunity to kind of present itself at this time, and it seemed like the right one. So I guess here we are.
Yeah. One of the things when I saw when the announcement came out that you were going to be the crew chief on that car, one of the things that quickly flew into my mind was one of the times I came down to Phoenix Racing. and you were painting. You were in there painting on the walls and stuff like that. I said, man, that's a heck of a job. That ain't got nothing to do with no race car. But
Yeah.
here you are.
And it was about a few minutes later, I fell off that ladder and broke my leg in half.
Forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not scared to do any of it. I feel like don't tell people to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. And I'm definitely not scared to get my hands dirty, like at all. And I think that's something that I think people like Nick Harrison, people like Danny Stockman, guys I've worked with that have definitely learned a lot. Technique and adapted a lot of that, I think, subconsciously, kind of how I do it.
Well, you learned a lot from Nick and everything that you were coming through with, and those were some great times that led to a lot of you guys really moving up in the sport. And I think that was basically because of Nick and all the training you guys got there.
Absolutely. And if James had never got out of racing, James Finch, I hadn't got out of it, I'd probably still be working for him in Spartanburg somewhere. Who knows?
Well, Andrew, we appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. I'm going to get you back on again sometime, and we'll talk again and talk some more about things. But I appreciate you spending some time with us.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you around the track sometime. Good to speak.
All right, man. Good luck. Good luck at Daytona.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it. Bye.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
I mean, it's so neat how you come from, was it Australia where he's from?
Yeah.
And come here and
Painting the walls to nice and pretty.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. He's an engineer.
But the thing about it is, when he was at well, before he came to Phoenix, he was at Richard Petty's. And
I remember he had talked about it once, but I can't remember what.
He was at Richard Petty's, and that was just, I mean, he was just like a, I don't know,
A regular
worker there. Yeah, he just did things like that. He went over to Braun, I think it was. He went over there. He was over there, and he was at Phoenix. And I mean, those guys at Phoenix. I mean, you look at all the guys that came out of Phoenix. I mean, it amazes me because I went to Phoenix racing and sat in there in that shop, and I'm thinking, these guys ain't never gonna win nothing.
Well, that's kind of like old school racing, right? That's kind of how they did it, right?
Yeah, but they were always, you know, they enjoyed what they were doing, and they got some success along the way. It wasn't every week, but it was some success there.
But they did. I mean, they won some Xfinity races. They won the one Cup race, but you know, I mean, I think everybody's important, right? I mean, you didn't just have to have James's money. I mean, James has done very well for himself, but it's something about his personality, right? And then Nick, they were two sort of peas in a pod.
Oh yeah, don't know doubt about it.
And Nick had I ain't gonna say he totally had the know-how, but he had the audacity or the balls to act like he did, right? And I'm sure it was kind of a learning in place.
But if he didn't know, if something goes on and he didn't know exactly what the deal was, he knew who he could talk to,
right?
Get this figured out. I mean, I've sat there and listened to him talk to somebody, Hendrick or something. You know, I've heard him talk about these people.
I mean, Nick was a very likable guy.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But he was a very likable guy.
He used to aggravate the hell out of me. I know that, but yeah, I mean, he was a great guy, and the guys that come out of there that have gone on. You got Tristan, who's an engineer. You got Andrew, who was an engineer. Now he's a crew chief.
Still an engineer.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of those guys have moved on and done some good things. And of course, some of them have fallen out of the sport. But it's really cool. I mean,
but that whole scenario doesn't work without Nick.
No, that's it.
You know what I mean? I mean, Nick had the old school, push the rules here, do some, some gray area stuff there, and which you could somewhat do in that time period. But I don't know if there was anybody else sort of in charge there. Would it work?
I don't think so, because Mark Reno was there for a while, and I just once they decided to let Nick do it, they got a little better and was involved in things like they were. And, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, you know, when some of these guys get these jobs, it's like I'm a daddy. Well, look at here. Look, I was with these guys. I remember
When they weren't nobody.
But one thing about it, when you worked for James Finch, you had fun when you were out at the racetrack.
It was like Vegas all the time.
Oh man, it was unbelievable. I mean,
You hear some stories.
yeah, I could tell you some stories.
How many sets of boobs has James bought? What did
What was
like
it, 10 to 12?
I thought it was like 28.
I don't know. It may have been. I don't know.
There used to be
It's been a long
wasn't there a counter at the shop or something or other that kept track of it or something?
That was some of Nick's stuff, though. That was Nick doing that. But what was really funny is when they won the race at Talladega, James, what was I think in the second half of the race, James said, "Oh hell, we ain't winning this thing."
And he went headed home.
He got the car and started home. He was going home. Got down the road a little ways and found out his car won the race. They had to get a police escort to come all the way back to Talladega. So, I mean,
he bought so many that when he went on the Dale Jr. download, Dale Jr. asked him. He said, "Well, they were about the same price as a set of tires back in the day."
Yeah, he did. And let me tell you, there's some stories that can be told.
And when you see that guy that looks like that's his daughter, no, that was James and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it probably won't just one.
Well,
It was probably a pair.
Well, that's the end of our show. That really went south there in a hurry.
that's it.
That's the end of our show. But I mean, I appreciate Scott Lloyd from Racing with ALS. That was
And go visit his website, their Facebook page, whatever he has, and at least like it. And does a great job in doing what he's doing. ALS is a terrible disease. I didn't know that much about it, and I still don't know a lot about it. But with a little bit of experience that I do have with it, it's a terrible, terrible disease.
And Spanky, you know, Spanky's always been one of our favorite people since we started going to races. So I mean, we've been to races.
Feed us, and we're friends for life.
He does that.
He did that.
Feeds a lot of people.
He did.
We go over there. Y'all want something? Go ahead and get it.
Although we had to stand over there for a minute because we weren't sure if it was okay or not. Because he had one of those ones he liked to mess with people. You know, somebody grabbed some food and was like, "Hey, who you with?" You know, and they were like, "Oh, you can go ahead." You know,
There ain't with nobody I know. Get away from my phone. Get away from my food.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised when you hang out with like that. People, they won't be a part of no team. They won't be a part. They could just be a fan that's got a hot pass, and they'll come over and kind of see if they can start getting some food and be like, "Who are you with?" I'm not with nobody. You can't. This is for the team. You got to go. I mean, you see it till today. You see it today.
Yeah, it still does it.
Testing the water.
And we're lucky enough we don't have that problem. So,
No.
But anyway, all right. Well, please like and share our show, and we'll talk to you again next week. Thank you, Andrew Dickinson and Chris Bechtel.
Thanks, guys. See you guys next.